Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in a game between JiFengLegacy and Liquid Jinro here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. Apparently, yeah, these two players are playing each other a game right after each other, and JiFengLegacy did say good play. The game one taking place on Shatter Temple. Jinro saying only reason why he really won was because of the close positions and the spawning on Shatter Temple that particular route. We have Jinfeng spawning as the red Zerg on the north side of the map, not changing his color. Meanwhile, we have Jinro spawning on the south side of the map as the blue Terran player. Terran versus Zerg, and I am looking forward to this matchup once again. And interestingly enough, Jinro is not building his supply depot by the front door. I am guessing that baneling busts have no longer been a common occurrence now that Terran players have learned to adopt and not having to wall off against a Zerg player. We are most likely going to see a barracks over here though, and I would expect that to be the case. Oh no, he's building the barracks on the high ground. So I have no idea how he's really trying to decide to build this wall. Especially as if you build supply depots here, then your tech lab really has nowhere to go, and it's kind of a strange position for a wall, as we are now going into perhaps a double racks build. Okay, so Jinro not going in for a double racks build, delaying his 13th SCV, going for a double racks wall in here on here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. We can see that JiFengLegacy is going for a 14 hatchery. A rather aggressive economic game, but it may or may not be able to defend against what would be a lot of Marines very early on, based upon the scouting of what this one drone over here and seeing the double racks. We'll see how he's going to respond, as we are upgrading to an orbital command already, and this double racks build is going to be very effective, as the drone now sees what he doesn't want to see. A lot of Marines being trained out of there in just a moment. One Marine going to just start dealing some damage already. A second Marine already being trained, as now one SCV going to make the trip all the way to the north side of the map and perhaps try to build a bunker. Drones most likely will be coming down in order to try to intercept this bunker if a bunker is in fact placed down, as this one drone now tries to perhaps activate a Xel'Naga watchtower, seeing a Marine instead, needs to continue to run. This SCV still needs to wander around the map just a little bit further. Perhaps a bunker could have been placed right here. That would have been absolutely hilarious, as the Overlord was down here just a little bit too far, and now drones are being transferred here. So one bunker is being placed down, and one Marine, and now some SCVs trying to battle it out. The Marine is trying to run away as quickly as possible, taking some damage from those claws. I'm not sure. It looks like he's actually spitting at the Marine, but the Marine getting torn apart there. You can now see the SCV now trying to fight back over here. Is the SCV going to build another bunker over here? Not quite sure why he doesn't build the other bunker over there, as a Marine, using the terrain to his advantage, making it so that he can only fight one drone at a time. Now going after the Marines here, but JiFengLegacy looks like he will be able to fend off this attack with little to no effort at all. The spawning extractor is already up. The one particular spawning pool has been taken down there, and the double Marine push is just going to have a lot of losses now for Jinro, as Jinro now tries to use those Marines in very safe positioning, facing those Zerglings one at a time, and doing a good job of trying to at least equalize the losses. The Marines now making their way out to the north, as we should be seeing double refineries already coming in, and double refinery fall with the command center. So it looks like more Marines are still being trained, but the expansion has already been started without teching to a factory yet, so that is quite a surprise, as more Zerglings are now still being added. JiFengLegacy still ahead in terms of his drone count, even though he is training up a lot of Zerglings. So you can see 12 Zerglings, 14 Zerglings in play, 8 more Zerglings still waiting to be trained. And those Marines do not stand a chance, especially with that metabolic research more than halfway completed. This game will be transitioning now, as Legacy just continues the power drone as quickly as possible, getting as many queens as possible. The queens are going to be very critical, in addition to starting a creep highway. Trying to see what's happening along the map is just so difficult. There's so much red all over the place, and Overlord going to get shot down here, supply locking his opponent. One SCV now going to get taken down. as the Marines are now trying to back off, and this may be a very difficult fight for those Marines. No, a barracks now already in play. The Zergling's going to try to put some pressure, and the Zergling's not going to be able to do much at all, as that third barracks is now coming in. So it is going to be a 3 racks front door, a very difficult front door to bust, if I may say so. A Marine now down over here going to simply get picked apart, and the Zerglings are still able to get a lot of damage onto Jinro. Jinro now 550 versus 300 income-wise, 29 drones versus 21 SCVs, and now it looks like Jinro gonna go into Hellions. This is a very nice strategy and a very nice response by Jinro. Jinro, knowing that his opponent has invested really heavily into Zerglings, knows that by getting a lot of Hellions, those Hellions are going to get a lot of damage in. Just a moment ago, we saw, what, like 11 drones in the production tab. 22 drones mining minerals there, and now we see, what, 19 drones, or 17 drones, excuse me, mining minerals here. So this is very, very heavy drone saturation, 42 harvesters compared to 26. The key will be how much damage he can do, and a Baneling's Nest coming into play. So Legacy not learning from the first matchup, not going for Roaches, and instead going for Banelings, and that's going to definitely be a problem, as Banelings are not going to be able to deal with those Hellions all that well. Those Hellions have a decent amount of range. The Hellions do not deal additional damage towards the Banelings, but the Banelings have a very hard time trying to get within the splash radius. It's more about who's able to shoot first and who's able to get that damage. It looks like the Hellions, as long as there's even if there's 5 or 6 of them, that's going to be very difficult for those Hellions to get that much damage. And now you can see what Zerglings just getting toasted right as those units come out, and the Blue Flame research has already been completed. The Zergling now getting toasted by the Infernal Pre-Igniter. I like saying Blue Flame, but someone's like, hey, you're technical, say Infernal Pre-Igniter. Okay, so Infernal Pre-Igniter has been researched. 6 Hellions now looking to see how many Zerglings they can torch. There's that Roach Warren now. The Roaches are going to be a little bit late, and that's going to be a problem, as those Hellions will be able to come in along that backside very, very easily. Zerglings need to try to come over, and now we also have a lot of Zerglings in production. The Roach Ward is done, but no, not enough larvae anywhere. So now Roaches need to be added very, very quickly, and I'm not quite sure why they are not added, those Hellions. However, by not engaging right now is probably helping Legacy a lot. The Zerglings going to be able to easily clean up a Marine there. As the Zerglings now come down over here, there are Hellions hiding out over here as well, as the Zerglings look to perhaps get some damage, though the Hellions have returned home. These Zerglings are not long for life, at least not the front-running Zerglings, all taking so much damage. The Zerglings now being forced to back off there, taking some damage as well. And now there are 6 Hellions just looking to try to get more damage onto those Zerglings. Zerglings do outpace those Hellions just a little bit, but especially on creep will be able to return all the way back home. We are getting the centrifugal hooks for those Banelings, so those Banelings will be able to move significantly faster in just a moment, especially on creep, as those Hellions now running around the corner as well. So those Zerglings now looking to try to deal some damage. We are going to get a hatchery down here, and now these Hellions once again returning home. This is going to be 2 base play versus 3 base play, and I spoke too soon, as Jinro already in the process of expanding. The Zerglings are still wandering about, trying to figure out where they can go, as the Overlords just need a crowd off together somewhere. Spire about halfway done, just needing a little bit more time, as Banelings are being hatched in this location here. The Banelings do take a little bit of time to hatch, as the Hellions were able to take down a creep tumor. Now, what both players have to be thinking right now is, what is my long-term strategy and goal? Legacy obviously has an advantage in terms of his army size. He doesn't know this, but he is also establishing his third base. The Hellions do in fact see that there is an expansion over here trying to be built, and with all of these Hellions, the Zerglings may try to come down in just a moment and try to swarm around this. That would not be a very, very easy time, as those Banelings, getting splashed apart very easily. Roaches now coming over as well, but no glial reconstitution for those Roaches, no movement speed upgrade, not going to help them out all too much, and those Hellions are once again in full retreat. Marines now looking to offer some support, and now stimming. Those Roaches are now desperately in trouble, as those Hellions are going to get a lot of damage across those units. The Marines now trying to get more damage as well. but the Hellions just dealing so much damage against those units, and those Hellions are going to be able to get more damage against those Roaches, and now fighting on creep should be a very, very large priority. Thors now being added to the army as well, so it's going to be Siege Tank, Thors, Hellions, and Hellions with Marines, as these rocks are going to get destroyed in just a matter of seconds. The Zerglings now going to swarm in, trying to find their target. It looks like more Hellions, Zerglings are going to get taken down, as the Zerglings are now trying to run in along this backside. It doesn't look like they're going to survive all too much. And Legacy is just losing a lot of units very, very needlessly. It doesn't look like he has a real game plan at this time. His macro is very strong, but Jinro able to just fend off attack after attack. We should be getting the, oh, no combat shield just quite yet, so the Marines very, very low on life, only 45 hit points instead of 55, as a command center should be upgraded to a planetary fortress in a matter of moments. The Mutalisk, however, able to get some damage onto those Hellions, and now the Zerglings may be able to wander around much more freely. That is going to be a problem. But the Marines are still going to be a very decent counter towards those Mutalisks. We are getting a lot of Zerglings, Roaches, and Banelings in this group as well, as those Mutalisks, what, only 6 in play, or 6 so far in the air, but a lot will be added, or 10 in the air. So 15, one control group of Mutalisks are going to become very, very powerful, as the Mutalisks now looking to clean up some of those Marines. One Marine's now trying to run away. It looks like they're not gonna fall, as the Mutalisks are only slightly faster than those units there. We do have some missile turrets properly set up, and those missile turrets going to be able to deter and push back those Mutalisks very, very easily. Those Mutalisks suffering a lot of damage, needless damage on top of that. Burrow also being researched as well, so that should be able to help out. And perhaps trying to set up some landmines against those Marines while they move and walk into play. You can see that there are, what, 23 Banelings in this group here, and even more Banelings in production, so it's going to be Banelings, 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 perhaps trying to blow up against multiple Marines. The planetary fortress may also melt apart as well. The siege tank, oh, the Mutalisk now trying to come in, trying to get some damage, trying to shut down many of those Marines, but unable to really do so. Taking down another missile turret, though, as those Marines are now trying to come in, and now they are going to simply fall, as well as more Marines need to come back over. The missile turret does not have the upgraded range. It's just because the Mutalisks are higher in the air, and Zerglings now swarming in as well. Planetary fortress now coming in. Thor is now trying to come in as well, as those Marines desperately running away once again. Level 1 missile upgrades, as those Mutalisks are now very low on health. Many of them in the red, majority of them in the yellow or red. And at this stage, we are continuing the power drone, so Legacy will be sitting at 200 food count in just a moment. Marines now once again falling over here at this Xel'Naga watchtower. Marines now once again pushing forward and cleaning up all of those Mutalisks. That's got to be very painful for Legacy. Legacy cannot afford for that to happen. There are 2 Banelings getting ready to just perhaps blow up and take down multiple units. And oh, that one Zergling with level 1 armor upgrades able to take down the Marines very, very easily. And now these Marines may try to walk out and then just end up suffering a lot of damage over there. Are they going to detonate? No, not going to detonate. Not enough Marines, and not really worth it there. The Baneling, I believe, detonates at 43 damage, I believe, or 41 damage at level 2 weapons upgrade. I need to double check. 43 damage was right the first time. So if a stim pack Marine will not suffer, but the Mutalisk now coming back over here, gonna get more damage, and now the missile turret finally within range, as those Thor now coming back. Jinro fighting a war on multiple fronts now. Legacy sitting at a maximum food count and should be able to just sit and get up a large amount of units. You can take a look at the amount of larvae he has. 26 larvae will be able to finish that off. And oh, a lucky break. A scanner sweep revealing those Banelings there, as now siege tanks are sieging up onto the high ground with Marine support. And this is exactly what Jinro needed to do. Getting a very large army now. Those Mutalisks are not going to be able to find their target all too easily, and now being forced to back off. And now Jinro with multiple siege tanks in very, very strong positions is going to be very, very difficult. Zerglings and Banelings now making their way. Banelings rolling in on both sides. Mutalisks now going after siege tanks as well, as those Marines are on that high ground, and the Mutalisks are just destroying everything to be found so far. The Marines trying to run away. Banelings just going target after target, destroying everything in sight. And now we are now going after this planetary fortress there. Army-wise, 350 versus 25, but production-wise, cracklings now being researched as the medevacs now making their way over here. There is a lot to be mined up. 2,000 mineral resources as the Zerglings are now trying to run around. Zerglings not going to be able to really fight back here. Those siege tanks up on that high ground. 18 and 21 kills. A large number of kills there as the Zerglings now once again swarming in. Jinro in a very strong position. Looks like he'll be able to destroy his opponent Legacy once again, as the adrenal glands is nowhere near being upgraded just quite yet. The crackling upgrades, 2-2 upgraded Zerglings with the speed upgrades should help out a lot. We are now going to get some Marines over here. Siege tanks up on that high ground, just causing so many problems. Banelings now melting across multiple units, and another siege tank getting taken down there. Zerglings need to swarm around, go after some of those key target units. Now going to shut down some of these SCVs here. So we are getting a lot of destruction on both sides. 53 SCVs, 72 drones, but the Marines with medevac support able to clear out this 9 o'clock expansion. No hatchery over here, so it is going to be 3-base play compared to 4, as the Zerglings now swarming in against this planetary fortress. It's not going to work. The planetary fortress has too thick of an armor, and now with Marine support, not going to really stand a chance. Marines once again stimming down into this location. The Spine Crawlers do have a base 2 armor, but not going to be enough to fend off the attack of so many Marines there. More transfusions trying to come into play, not working, just too many medevacs. Banelings now on a roll, but oh, not finding their target as the Marines were picked up. So beautiful micro by Jinro, keeping his hopes alive, and then just finishing off his opponent. Production-wise, the Zerglings are now weapon speed upgraded 59 or 0.59 seconds, almost attacking twice a second, as the Zerglings now are just clawing their way, trying to win the war by themselves. I'm not sure that they can do it, salvaging that bunker at just the last second to return 100 minerals there. And a nice save once more. Drones now being transferred over here, but it doesn't look like the hatchery is even up yet. Long distance mining coming underway as the Marines with 2-1 upgrades should be able to finish off and deal a lot of damage. The Mutalisk now going after those siege tanks here. The Marines now coming around that far side and will be able to get a lot of damage on top of those Mutalisk. Mutalisk trying to run away, but those Marines with that range of 5 able to catch up to those Mutalisk so easily. You can see now an extractor over here. Banelings about to be hatched once more as this siege tank finally destroyed, and those Mutalisks trying to fly away once more. Drones now being transferred over here. The Marines now going to take down this hatchery as JiFengLegacy, I believe, is about to say GG, and there it is. So JiFengLegacy losing to Jinro once again here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. Just really strong play by Jinro. JiFengLegacy, who had such a large macro advantage, such a strong economy, but unable to position his units properly. What really saved Jinro was those 2 siege tanks, those 2-3 siege tanks with Marine support on the high ground. That Marine support was key so that those Mutalisks could not swarm and take down those siege tanks. The siege tanks had somewhere in the 20 kill range last time I checked on them, and that's ultimately what did JiFeng in. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between these two players. You can see economy-wise and army-wise who spent the most, but ultimately Jinro took this in the end. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening.